The Zodiac killer remains one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American criminal history. A shadowy figure who struck terror across Northern California in the late 1960s, claimed at least 5 confirmed murders, boasted of many more, and taunted police and the public with cryptic letters, chilling ciphers, and a signature symbol that looked like crosshairs over a circle. What makes this case so gripping even decades later is the killer's intelligence, his love for games and publicity, and the fact that despite endless investigations, sketches, suspects, and modern DNA efforts, his true identity has never been confirmed. He vanished as suddenly as he appeared, leaving behind a legacy of fear, mystery, and endless speculation. Let's go back to the beginning and walk through the entire story step by step, from the first attacks to the final letters, the codes that were cracked, the ones that weren't, and why this killer still haunts true crime fans today. It all started on a cold December night in 1968, just before Christmas. On December 20th, in a remote Lover's Lane spot along Lake Herman Road near Benicia, California, 2 high school teenagers, 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen, were on what was essentially their first real date. They parked David's Rambler car in a quiet, dark area popular with young couples. Around 11 p.m. or shortly after, someone approached the vehicle. Without warning, the attacker fired multiple shots. David was hit in the head and died almost instantly. Betty Lou tried to flee but was shot 5 times in the back and collapsed nearby. A passing motorist discovered the bodies later that night. Shell casings from a .22 caliber weapon were found, but no clear motive emerged. No robbery, no sexual assault, just sudden, brutal violence. Police initially looked into drug connections or personal grudges, but nothing stuck. This double murder remained unsolved for months, until the killer decided to claim credit himself. Fast forward to July 4th to 5th, 1969. In the parking lot of Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, another young couple, 22-year-old Darlene Farron and 19-year-old Michael Mago, was sitting in their car late at night. A vehicle pulled up, and a man shone a bright flashlight into their faces. Before they could react, he opened fire with a 9mm Luger pistol. Darlene was hit multiple times and died shortly after arrival at Kaiser Foundation Hospital, pronounced dead around 12:38 a.m. Michael survived despite being shot in the face, neck, and body. He played dead until the shooter left. When police arrived, Michael gave a description: a white male, possibly stocky, around 5 feet 8 inches to 5 feet 10 inches. About 40 minutes after the shooting, around 12:40 a.m., a man called the Vallejo Police Department from a nearby payphone, calmly reporting the attack and also taking responsibility for the Lake Herman Road murders from the previous December. He gave accurate details that hadn't been released publicly, proving he was the same killer. This phone call marked the moment the case exploded into public awareness. Then, on July 31st, 1969, exactly 26 days later, 3 nearly identical letters arrived at 3 different Bay Area newspapers: the San Francisco Examiner, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter contained a handwritten confession, chilling details about the crimes, and 1/3 of a larger cryptogram or cipher made up of strange symbols. The writer demanded that the newspapers publish the full cipher on their front pages, threatening a kill rampage if they didn't comply. He began one section with words that would become legendary: "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." He signed the letters with a cross-circle symbol that resembled the zodiac sign for Cancer or a gun sight, hence the name Zodiac that he would soon adopt. The public was horrified. Newspapers did publish the ciphers, though not always on the front page as demanded, and within days, a high school teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betta cracked the 408 symbol cipher. The decoded message revealed the killer's twisted philosophy. Killing gave him pleasure, he was collecting slaves for the afterlife, and he wouldn't reveal his identity through this code, but perhaps in another one. The Zodiac struck again on September 27, 1969, but this time the method changed dramatically. At Lake Berryessa, a popular recreation area, 20-year-old Brian Hartnell and 22-year-old Cecilia Shepard were picnicking by the water when a man wearing an eerie hooded costume, black with a white cross-circle symbol on the chest, approached them with a gun and a knife, 270. He claimed he was an escaped convict needing their car to flee to Mexico. He tied them up with clothesline, then brutally stabbed them both repeatedly. Cecilia died from her wounds 2 days later. Brian survived after crawling to help and giving a detailed description. The hooded figure even wrote a message on the victim's car door in marker, dates of the previous killings, the 20th of December, 68, the 7th of April, 69, September 27-69-6:30, a cross circle symbol, and by knife for this attack. This attack was more personal and theatrical than the shootings, almost ritualistic. Less than 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, the Zodiac claimed his final confirmed victim in San Francisco. Cab driver Paul Stein, 29, was shot point-blank in the head while parked on Washington Street in the Presidio Heights neighborhood. The killer took Stein's wallet, keys, and a piece of his bloody shirt as a trophy. 3 teenage witnesses saw the killer from across the street and called police, providing a composite sketch: a white male, around 35 to 45 years old, stocky build, short brown hair, wearing glasses. Police arrived quickly but somehow missed the suspect walking away calmly. This murder shifted the case to a major city, ramping up the pressure. From late 1969 onward, the Zodiac flooded newspapers and police with letters, over 20 confirmed ones through 1974. They were filled with taunts like "This is the Zodiac speaking," boasts about more killings, threats of bombs and school bus attacks, complete with diagrams, and more ciphers. One of the most famous was the 340-character cipher sent in November 1969 to the Chronicle. It remained unsolved for 51 years until December 2020, when a team of amateur codebreakers, David Aranchak, Sam Blake, and Jarl Van Eyck, finally cracked it. The message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner." It mentioned slaves for the afterlife again, but gave no name. The Zodiac claimed up to 37 murders in total, sometimes more in later letters, but police could only confirm 5 deaths and 2 survivors from the 4 attacks described. Other cases, like the 1963 murders of Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards, or various unsolved shootings, have been speculated but never definitively linked. The letters stopped abruptly in 1974 after a final confirmed one, though some disputed mailings continued into the late 1970s. Over the decades, hundreds of suspects have been investigated. Arthur Lee Allen, the prime suspect in the 1970s and featured in the 2007 film Zodiac, Lawrence Kane, Richard Gaikowski, and many others. Fingerprints, handwriting, DNA from stamps and letters, all have been tested with modern technology, but nothing conclusive. The case remains open with multiple agencies, including the FBI, still reviewing tips. What keeps people obsessed? It's the combination of random, terrifying violence with intellectual games, the ciphers, the media manipulation, the ego that craved attention. The Zodiac wanted fame, fear, and control, and in a way, he got it. Even today, people debate new theories, analyze old letters, and wonder if he'll ever be named. One thing is certain: the Zodiac killer story is far from over in the public imagination. It's a dark reminder that some monsters slip away into history, leaving only questions and chills behind. Share this video with friends who love unsolved cases. The more eyes on it, the closer we might get to the truth. Thanks for sticking with me all the way through. This is Rulik Enigmas signing off. Catch you in the next mystery.